all the countries that live in the CONCACAF region, the U.S. is the one team that they don't want to be inferior to, period. If it were Canada or if it were Costa Rica or maybe Panama now, it would be completely different.
After the game, Tim Ream also said this, which I thought was interesting, and I think we should discuss it here with our community. We're on to a final, said Tim Ream, a final that I'd say a month ago, everyone basically counted us out. Shame on them. So for us, it's like, great, amazing. It's knockout football. You find a way to win. You find a way to grind it out. You find a way to do it. And why shouldn't we be happy to go on to a final and play for a trophy? That's why we play this game, to play in front of crowds like this and play for trophies. Tones, your thoughts on that quote from Tim Ream? Feels very pointed.
Yeah.
I think he's talking to you.
Yeah. Okay. If that is the case, then look, in this case, I'd be happy to be wrong, that the U.S. wins a Gold Cup. I think we'd all be, Jimmy. I mean, we know everybody that does our job around, different networks and channels and podcasts and all that stuff. I don't know of a person that's rooting against the U.S., right? But you have a job to make an assessment. And the reality is, coming into this thing, it wasn't bright. It was 4 losses in a row, and 2 of them to Turkey and Switzerland. I don't care who you are, what you think, what you said. They were not good looks. So as a fan, you look onto something to hold on to. And those games were nothing to hold on to. Now, I get the competition is a little bit different, and coming into this, we tempered. I don't think, as this tournament has gone on, one of us has yet picked the U.S. to lose a game in this thing. I correct me, am I wrong about that? I don't think one of us has picked, as we did previews of the game, as we watched the other teams, as we watched the teams that have grown into the tournament. I don't think anyone has said, hey, the U.S. is going to lose. So with that said, I mean, okay, Tim, I think he's just making a blanket statement in general about people that didn't pick this team. But you need to give people reason to pick your team. And coming into this, there wasn't a lot of reason to pick their team.
Yeah, there's also probably an element of leadership here where they're trying to build out that us against the world type mentality. We've seen it over and over and over, right? Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I understand where he's coming from, and I can understand him shouldering some of that responsibility as captain to be like, okay, I'll face the music, I'll dab on those haters, as it were. And clearly the vibe around the team coming into the Gold Cup wasn't good, and it wasn't high, and there was a lot of smoke around the players that weren't involved. And now they're here. They're in the final. However they got there, and now they have a chance, I think, to really shut up, quote unquote, the haters and beat a good Mexico team who has their full squad. And I think that's going to be the ultimate test. So maybe he jumped the gun a little bit. Maybe should have saved these sentiments for after beating Mexico, but
that's fine though. He's doing what he has to do.
I agree.
He's a leader in this team. He's the captain of his team. He's doing exactly what he has to do.
Yeah. So ultimately, the interesting part, why shouldn't we be happy to go to a final, is an interesting choice of words.
Because anyone not happy that they're going to a final?
I'm buzzing. And in fact, we need to give ourselves some flowers, Big Tones, because in our preview for the Guatemala game, we both said the U.S. would win 2-1. And I'm not saying we're Nostradamuses over here, but we nailed that. We absolutely nailed that. So we're going to carry that momentum into some good vibes going into the final when we ultimately give our predictions for that game. It's happening again on Sunday, a 7 p.m. Eastern kickoff in Houston. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm a little jealous for everybody that gets to go, because U.S.-Mexico games are always cracking. Whether you're on the field, whether you're on the sideline, whether you're on the stands, they're the best. I feel
like we should be there doing this.
We should. It's
so much fun.
All right, so let's talk very quickly before we get into my combined 11. Do you think the history plays into this at all? I actually was pretty surprised when I did my research, Big Tones, that we've played Mexico in 7 Gold Cup finals and only won 2 of them. I just thought that number would be a little bit more even. This feels pretty one-sided, that once Mexico gets to the big dance or gets to the big game and they're playing us, they seem to level up their intensity a little bit. Are you as surprised by that as I am?
No, I knew it. I don't think I'm as surprised because I knew it. We did beat them in the semifinal a couple times, including the first edition of this competition.
You were part of that?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
It was in black and white, Jimmy. Yeah. There's no video of it. There is actually. It's a pretty good game. It's of course you have to take this rivalry. Like, this is the biggest rivalry in CONCACAF. I mean, you can't. Nobody can argue that. And it's in a time where there was a period of time where it was dominated by Mexico. Then there was a long period of time in the modern football era that it was dominated by the U.S. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but I think if you're a Mexican fan, you probably have run every range of emotion for the last 4 or 5 years with this group, with all the changes and everything that's gone on with the team. And can they dominate? And let's face it, right? Out of all the teams that live in the CONCACAF, of all the countries that live in the CONCACAF region, the U.S. is the one team that they don't want to be inferior to, period. If it were Canada or if it were Costa Rica or maybe Panama now, it would be completely different. It's the U.S. against Mexico. There's so many other things that have happened over the years that have there's been things that have strengthened the relationship from a footballing side with Liga MX and MLS, in my opinion, but this rivalry is as big as it gets in the region. And they're in a moment, Jimmy, where they're trying to establish themselves as the best team in the region. They don't care if this is the A team, the B team, the C team. They don't give a rat's you-know-what about that. They're here to win a final, and that's all they're going to think about. And that's all their fans are going to think about.
Yeah, I don't think Mexico's going to make too many changes to their 11, so there's not much to get into there that we haven't already discussed. What about our 11? We threw up a poll for everybody that's watching on the
changes.
YouTube channel.
I'm not voting for any changes.
Well, so the lineup change that our audience wanted to see was Damian Downs in for Ajiman. I just don't think we've seen enough of Damian Downs, unless we're seeing something in training or if Ajiman's hurt.
I've said it every game.
Yeah, Ajiman is going to start. So for everybody that wants to see something different, I just don't know where else.
Don't we need goals out of Ajiman? Like this is. I think he's got one. Oh, the one he had was the deflected one. No, the Luna goal. Well, it wasn't Luna's goal. Luna cut in. He shot it, hit him in the leg.
Yeah, right.
Against Trinidad, right?
I think he got credit for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he did get credit for that one for sure. So
it's not like an out goal that
we need more goals because his game doesn't offer us holding the ball enough, connecting enough to not have goals at the end of it, right? If you're a little bit sloppy and okay, you live with that when you get goals. But he needs to find goals if he's going to continue in that spot.
Okay, so Ajiman, despite people wanting to see Damian Downs in the final, I don't know. You've played 5 straight games with Ajiman up top, or did he?
Oh, I think he's going to start. Yeah,
he's got to start. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to just make that change now. Tyler Adams, maybe if is truly nursing something a little more significant in the hamstring, somebody will come in for him. Johnny Cardoso seems like he's training, but still uncomfortable with his ankle injury. Obviously, he's got some other stuff going on the transfer side, so they might want to be careful with that. I guess the only other one is Tolkien for Arvston. But that seems unlikely at this point, too, given how much trust Pochettino's put in for Arvston.
So, Jimmy, let me ask you this really quick. Who do you think will start just to change? And then who do you want? I think there's 2 different questions, right? Yeah.
At this point, you've built up a rapport with this particular group of players. I think what will happen and what I want at this point will probably be the same. If this is who we're going to trust, and this is who we're going to trust. And I wouldn't change anything because there's clearly these guys have now played against Costa Rica, right? Have been kicked together against Costa Rica. They had to solve problems against 2 different teams in Guatemala as well and in Costa Rica. I'd rather see that type of continuity than continue into the final as opposed to maybe risking 3 or 4 changes and being a step off. Unless there's a health concern. Then obviously that needs to be taken into consideration. But I wouldn't change anything at this point. And we
do have extra time in this game, right, in the final. So it's not going straight to penalty kicks. So you got to manage that as well, right? Yeah. I would like to see a change up top only because what I told you a couple weeks ago or a couple of shows ago. Sorry. I still think Ajiman is a late game substitution at best at the World Cup. Yeah. I don't see him as a starter. And we have seen him in that role in the Nations League, right? We saw him 1 game in the Nations League. In this tournament, we haven't seen him in that role. I would prefer to see him in that role if that's what we're going to see. And then I'd love to see John Tolkien get the start on the left-hand side, because I don't think Arston, even in the moments that he's gotten forward, his service hasn't been great. We look at the goal he scored in the last game against Costa Rica. Okay, good goal, but I think we need more out of that position.
All right. Yeah. It will be interesting to see, but I wouldn't get anybody's hopes up if they want any changes that we're going to get any.
No, I don't think there's going to be any. I'm sorry, I should have made that clear. I was going on what you want to see.
Got it. No. And yeah, I don't think you're wrong. And yeah, wow, this has been a great game. I'm excited. I had to take a brief pause to really soak it all in. U.S.-Mexico in a Gold Cup final. Yes, and please. Oh, look at you. You got to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. So if you want more average to good content, then you know where to go find it. Go peruse our channel, then hit like, then hit subscribe, and of course, turn on your notifications so that you never miss a show. We'll see you next time.